So I found a theme in these books. I think most, if not all of them, are blue or on the blue spectrum of things. I love illustrations. I am skiing. I'm in Austria. I am vlogging. Hello lovely bookworms, I'm Esmay from Paradise Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and welcome to a new video. At the moment, as we speak, as you're hopefully watching this video, I am skiing. I'm in Austria. I am vlogging, so you can see that one coming. That one is coming after I'm back, but I am, because of that, pre-filming. And because of that fact, I thought it would be perfect to share with you 10 books that I love for the winter season. These don't necessarily have to be situated in snow, but these are just books that I think are perfect for the season, books that I think I've personally read during the winter season, and books that, if I hadn't read them, would be perfect for this season. So I'm gonna try and tell you what they are about. Some of them are a bit longer ago, might I add, but all of these are definitely favorites. So without further ado, let's just start with book number 1. So the first book I have here is a book that I love because of the fact that there's witches in here, and that is The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. This is, I think, V.E. Schwab of Victoria Schwab's first books that she wrote, and this is about a town in which children go missing. And they believe that there is a witch on the loose, or some of them there might be a witch among them. This is quite a short book, which is definitely something I like during the season. I'm not sure why, but I prefer middle grades during the colder months over the warmer months. Not sure. In the summer I'm just more in the mood for very heavy fantasy books. And so I had to put this guy on the list. I think it's really entertaining. One thing I think this is as well, I actually met V.E. Schwab a couple years ago during a signing, and I got this book signed personally, which is really nice. It even says so for Esmay. So that is really, really nice. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I think that if you want something that's sort of nice and quick and easy, this is definitely something that you should try out. Also, I found a theme in these books. I think most, if not all of them, are blue or on the blue spectrum of things. These are apparently blue books. Could have been the title of this video, but that's okay. That could be a fun video, by the way. My 10 favorite red books, or my 10 favorite black books, or my 10 favorite blue or green books. Cool. Let me know if you want to see a video like that, or just a rainbow of colors. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. That said, I think I have another middle grade, and that is The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundell. This is a book about a girl whose mother gets kidnapped, I think. Theodora is her name. They basically live in the very deep forest of Russia, surrounded by snow and wolves. So if you like an atmospheric book that is set in the snow, and if you like a search, because our main protagonist actually goes to search for her mother, this is definitely a book that is up your sleeve. What I love about this one as well is that it has illustrations. Let me see if I can find one that's not too far in. For example, this is a chapter header, a little wolf cub, and I think there is huge ones as well. Yeah, look. Absolutely beautiful. I love illustrations in books. So that is The Wolf Wilder. I do think that my copy is a little bit faulty, if I remember correctly. Yeah, look, so this is what a regular page looks like. Just regular letters, right? This is what the other guys look like. It's like it's printed double. It's really strange. In any case, this is book number 2, and it's definitely worth a read. It's a quick book as well, and this one, my copy is actually very heavy, but it is really lovely. Next up, I have a fantasy book, and this one is even perfect in the title, and that is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I prefer Winter Song over Shadow Song, which is the sequel. I think the first book is definitely the best, but this is about Liesel, and Liesel is I think she plays the piano. She's very musical. She's into music, and if you're looking for a book that has an element of music in there, that's definitely this. So in this world we have a goblin king, and every year around the same time he's looking for a bride, and Liesel at one point has to go to the underworld because her sister gets taken, and so she goes to the underworld to get her sister back. I really enjoyed this book. I think it's beautiful, it's enchanting. I love the beautiful writing, it's very flowery, and in general I think it's perfect for the winter season. Like I said, very blue. All these books are very blue, but I really enjoyed it. So next up, speaking of books with witches, I actually have a book that I know a friend of mine is going to be happy that I'm holding up. Cheyenne, this is not necessarily for you, but it kind of is, and that is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. This is about a woman who can... she's basically a necromancer in the broadest sense of the word. So she manipulates corpses and bones, and it is such an interesting story. There's also flash forwards in here, or flashbacks. I'm not sure which way is the present tense, if that makes sense. I still have to continue the series, which I definitely will this year, but this book is brilliantly written. I think that this is such an interesting concept. We don't encounter a lot of necromancers in fantasy in general, at least not the books that I'm reading. And this is a trilogy, by the way, if you were wondering, and I think this is perfect for the colder months. I feel like death and decay are definitely part of winter, if that makes sense. I know that it's just as prevalent in the other seasons, but it just feels that way because the world, nature is kind of dying and then coming back to life in the spring season. So this is just perfect for the winter season. Okay, so we're 4 books down. Let's move on with book number 5, and book number 5 is more of a series. Weirdly enough, I don't own the first book. I think I own the second to last and like the third one or something, and that is the Every Heart a Doorway series by Shannon Maguire. So Every Heart a Doorway, I have here, I think the 6th or the 7th book, is about girls finding their doors. So every single book we follow different characters trying to find either their way back home or their way back to their worlds, and essentially for every person in the world there is a door that leads them to their perfect world. For some people that is already the world they live in, so it's Earth, but for some people they find their door. And in the first book, Every Heart a Doorway, we actually follow a girl who's come back from her world, and she goes through what was it called again? Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, and there she meets a lot of different people from a lot of different worlds, and then someone gets murdered. I think the first book is definitely my favorite, with Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is also great, and In an Absent Dream. Those 3 are my favorites. This one was definitely good, and I think they're very tiny, so they're just perfect to just sit down and read in one sitting, at least for me. The audiobooks are just as brilliant, and I know that there's a new one that just came out. Not completely sure what the title is, but I want to read that one soon as well. But I'm definitely going to recommend the Wayward Children series. Speaking of murder, because we were speaking of murder in the Wayward Children series, the next one is definitely one that I enjoy during the winter season. I am personally a big fan of murder mysteries and detectives, locked room murder mysteries, and I think they're perfect for the winter season. Give me all the winter murder. And in that sense, I have here Midwinter Murder by Agatha Christie. This is actually a collection of shorter murder tales from Agatha Christie. So we have Miss Marple, we have Poirot, I think there's some other detectives in here as well. It's kind of a compendium. Yeah, it's a compendium of seasonal short stories featuring some of Agatha Christie's most famous detectives. But there's essentially, I think, about 10 stories in here, and it's just perfect for the winter season. Also, can we just appreciate the list of also written by? That's huge! But this is such a fun book. I really enjoyed it. I read it, I think, about a year and a half ago during Christmas time, I think, because there's literally one in here. I think it's called The Christmas Tragedy. And do you have anything more? Nah. That is just perfect, in my opinion, for the winter season, and I think I might reread this at some point. It's been a long time. I don't really remember the stories, so that's good, but I can recommend this for the winter season. Something I also really enjoy during the winter season is romance, but then romance with fantasy in it. And so the next book is definitely a fantastical romance, or a romantic fantastic book, and that is A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. I think Elise Kova has such interesting stories. I've read more of her books, and she is from what I gather, a self-published author. This book is brilliant. So it's about a girl who is, I think, sold to marry someone else, and then she figures out that there's more to life than what meets the eye, and there's more to the world than what meets the eye. I think this book is just beautiful. This is actually from the Married with Magic series that Elise Kova does. I think there are currently 3 books, and the 4th one is coming out this year, if I'm saying that correctly. We have Deal with the Elf King, Married to the Fate Prince, or Dance with the Fate Prince, and then something with Vampire Lord. Duel with the Vampire Lord, and then now we get Mirror Man, I think. But this is just one of the most beautiful books I've read, sorry, and I think that it is perfect if you are into fantasy and into romance. It was just great. I really enjoyed it, so I cannot recommend this enough. Next up, I have something with ghosts. Again, I think this is something that is perfect for the winter season. And I have here City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is a middle grade. This is about a girl who has nearly passed away, and in doing so, she is now able to see ghosts. And she can go behind something that I think they call the veil. And she has a ghost best friend. She has a cat, and then her parents decide to make a documentary of different cities about ghosts, murder, every dark aspect of life, and they drag their child along with them. This is the funniest thing because our main protagonist just wants to steer away from all of the dead ghosts, but is not able to because she has to come to every single cemetery they can find. I think this book is hilarious. I think the first installment is in Edinburgh. They go to Edinburgh. They're going to Edinburgh in this first one. I think they go to France, and then there's New Orleans, I think. Those are the 3 that are out. I think V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab, has said that she won't be making any new ones soon, but I hope that at one point she'll pick this up again. I thought this was so hilarious, and the story is really well done. I like the characters. Cassie is just such a fun character to follow around, and this is perfect for the winter season. Also, there's no blue on this cover, so that is positive. Then if we stay in the middle grade genre, I have one that I think is perfect for this season, and that is the Polar Bear Explorers Club by Alex Bell. It's not necessarily a trilogy, but the Polar Bear Explorers Club is a trilogy. After that, you get the Ocean Squid Explorers Club, I think. This is about a girl who really wants to become a polar bear explorer. However, considering she's a girl, she is not allowed to, but in a fortunate or unfortunate series of events, she finds herself in an expedition. And this book was so hilarious. Oh, I didn't know there's actually an illustration in here. But this book was just brilliant. I really enjoyed listening to it because I listened to the first and the second one. Still have to read the third one, which I think I will do during this winter season. The cover itself is also just beautiful, so that makes me incredibly happy. And this is one of those fun adventure type middle grades that I think everyone will at least enjoy. Then last but certainly not least, I think my most favorite winter book on this list. This is also a book that I've read multiple times, and I will continue to read multiple times. It is a duology, and I'm talking about none other than Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. It is no lie that I love this book. I think I've talked about it multiple times. We follow Kamzan, who wants to become a royal explorer, and then the actual royal explorer, River, actually comes to her tiny town, and he wants to take her sister on an adventure to save the world. However, when push comes to shove, her sister's gone, and so River needs to find someone else to go on his adventure with him. And so our main girl Kamsen here actually goes with the river to Mount Roxa to get a very important artifact they need to save the world. They're not the only one on this adventure, but I really enjoyed it. There's rock climbing, there's ghosts, there's snow, there's magic, there's ravens, there's even a very cute fox named Ragtooth. And that's kind of like, everyone has kind of a familiar. I loved this book. I think the first and the second one, they're beautiful. I think they're so underrated. And I think if there's one book from this list, if you're into fantasy that you should read, it is this guy. I am so in love with this book, so I cannot talk about it enough. Speaking of Heather Fawcett, I also really like Ember and the Ice Dragons, but this guy, this one has my heart. So that is my final book on the list, and I've saved the best for last. Those were all of the books that I wanted to share with you. These are my favorite wintry books. I wish I could reread them or read them for the first time again, but alas, that is not an option. That said, I hope that you can find at least one book that you want to read from this list. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please wish me luck on skis, and I hope to see you all the next time. Bye!